Turning on your home computer to read the day's newspaper. Well, it's not as far-fetched as it may seem. In fact, both local San Francisco papers are investing a lot of money to try and get a service just like that started. Science editor Steve Newman reports on one person already using the brand new system.
Hey Jared, this is Matt the LJN Defender, and I've got a question for you. I've been on a mission recently to get the best possible quality from all of my retro consoles, and there's one in particular that's been a bit of a pain in the ass, to be honest. The N64. I've heard about the Ultra HDMI mod, but it's pretty expensive, but I really do love the de-blur feature. Is there anything that you could possibly think of that would be a little cheaper than that, but would also have the de-blur? Anything that you can do for me would be really appreciated.
Right, so we're going to give this a custom paint job. Now, in order to do that, we're going to have to take it all apart and take the guts out of the inside of it so we can send the shell back to the workshop and get it all painted up. So, I know you'll be watching this, Ryan, so thanks very much for this N64, and yes, it's your one. So anyway, let's start taking it apart. Tools for this one's going to be simple. All we're going to need to do is open up this, get out a screwdriver, and the bigger one of the Nintendo security screw drivers. First thing we do is flip our Nintendo 64 over, and you will reveal that there are 6 screws to remove. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we just flip it over and all the screws should fall out. We open this lid up. We're going to gently remove the memory card or the expansion slot here, the little jumper pack that's inside. Okay, then the unit should just lift off like that. Now we're going to have to remove these screws and get the unit out. As for the top, all as is, the little lid's back on here. I'll most probably remove this now with the 2 screws so that it's easier for painting, and we'll paint that manually. Okay, now I'm going to remove these buttons as well, so you flip it over and there'll be some little tabs here. Take it to the center, just push, and it should all fall through. There's your power button. Same for the reset button here. Flip it over, push together, and it should just fall straight through if you've done it right, like that. So that these buttons can get their different colours to the rest of the machine. Cool! And as you can see here, the gates are off, so I'll do these separately as well. And makes it nice and easy to paint. Another cool idea as well is that we'll paint the power pack the same colour as the unit as well, so that it all ties in the same. And we can even take the internals out as we do it, so we know it's safe as we don't put any paint into the inlets or anything there. Cool. Okay, so now everything's in the tub. We're going to close it up, send it away to the little workshop we got, and we're going to make it pretty as new, and we'll be straight back. Hi there, welcome back to the show. Thanks for stopping by again. Well, let's get into modifying this and increasing the video quality. So we've painted this with some nice bright vibrant oranges and some beautiful blue colours, some nice soft blues, and I've also put a little vinyl protection layer around here because this is the highest point of the console, right? So if you knock it and bump it, you're not going to chip the paint off. And aesthetically it's still fairly pleasing, but for a preservation point of view I think I want this to last forever for him, so this is best to keep this in for good nick. And we've redone the controller as well, really nice and beautiful and glossy. So anyway, with the video quality
upgrade in production quality for the video, we're going to have to reveal this. So the kit we're going to be using to achieve your de-blur is the Tim Worthington N64 RGB12 Altera Max 2 chip with a DAC adapter for the chip. Depending on what type you use, there'll be various different chip types where you have to hook in for your video signals. This is very, very handy, and for the couple of bucks it costs, I highly recommend you do it because it comes with a chip adapter and a little breakout harness on the other side, which gives you so much more room to do your wiring off if you have to. Comes with the ribbon cable that you can use to do this, although I know a lot of people find that that's a little bit thick and then they use the Ccunite as well. That's perfectly fine. The board and everything's here, and it's got the double-sided tape on the back for sticking it down, and he also provides a little bit of solder, which is really good. Probably if you're any sort of aptitude with your soldering, this would be plenty more than enough, and the gauge is really, really good as well. All I would suggest you have on board is a little bit of flux, and we'll go from there. It's really that simple. Also, I'm going to be putting in some LEDs for his undercarriage to shine light through his vents. Optional to have it on or off, a little switch on the back, but I think it's a cool little feature. I'm going to find the colour that I think suits best. I've got about 300 here of different various ones I've pre-wired for other jobs before. So side by side here, I have two N64s. One that would not require the VDAC chip adapter, and this one would. If you can notice, the pin tolerance is way different, see here, which is going to make that one absolute nightmare to get to. So if you got this little breakout adapter, it's makes life real easy, and it just sticks down here and you solder through it like that. Anyway, we're going to do this one today for viewing, and I'll show you now. The particular chip in this N64 is the VDC NUS, and here is our pinouts for it, and the dot being in the top left. This variant does not require the adapter. This variant does require the adapter. Also,
there's one more chip. And it must be destroyed also.
The orientation of a chip is determined by this little dot up here. With pin 1, and it goes down like that. We're going to cut 12 Ccunite AWG30 wires, pre-tin them, and solder on the left hand side if you're looking at its legs right now. All 12 of them. So now we're done here with the N64. We're going to pre-solder the VDC chip pin ins here and put some solder on these pads. Do G and A as well. This is the bridge out for the de-blur feature, and we're going to have to put a little toggle switch off this on the back of the N64. Plus take care of all these little input voltage ones, and this is where RGB comes out of. Blue, green, red, ground, C-Sync stripper, and I'm not actually sure what the C575 is, but as we go on I'll find that out pretty quickly. Alright.
Something I can never do.
Now that you've put that little bit of hot melt strain relief, peel the double-sided tape off the back and place your board down like this. Your RGB board's now fixed. This is the output signal that's going to go to the little harness on the outside of the N64, the D-burst switch, and we're going to bring our signal wiring into here. But first of all, I'm going to take an extra ground off of here and pin it to this heat sink somewhere, because this is all attached to the ground via contact connection. So I'm going to take a screw off here and run a wire from the ground here to here, because they recommend you have double lines to get rid of some of the interference you can have coming through this. Anyway, so I'll make that now. So now what we need to do is bring the cables off the VDC NUS and bring them all into this input side here. And what we're going to do after that, solder them all on, refit the case off, and then fit it to the multi-AV out connector, and we should be good to go for that part. Okay, so you can see the case on like this. You may notice now, as if we take the lid off, you can see I've gently leaned this along, put a couple of dots of the hot melt to hold it in place. Now Tim Worthington recommends you bend this metal piece up here, unlike this one here, so the cable has somewhere nice and secure to go through without possible severing or crushing of the cable. And it should fit down nice and easy like this. Next, what we'll do is bring all these blue cables over, which I've all labelled individually what they are, and solder them onto this. If you do find yourself needing more room, the D-Sync, the clock, the 3.3 and the ground are all located here on bigger pads, but I'm going to solder mine all directly to here, to the one that says VDC. If you have a DNC one, you can use this one, and for the MAV ADVC you can use this one too, but he recommends you use these two for all types. And these are not necessarily mandatory, but they give you a bit more space if you find it's tight. Let's get soldering. Here is a close-up of the pinouts, so you know what you're looking at before we get started. Okay, so let's do the final section of this and bring these RGB output cables to the AV multi-out.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Okay, so we're going to include C-Sync in this one. 4 pins are going to be connected, plus a C-Sync if you want it, but not necessary, but I'll show you how it all goes in. But the colours actually I'm using for the wires correspond to what they actually are. So red, green, blue are red, green, blue, the black is the ground, and the orange is the C-Sync or the 75 ohm C-Sync, but we're going to use the orange one because this is the more versatile one. Okay, now that's done. I've tied the 75 ohm wire behind here just so it's out of the way, not being used. But yeah, we're ready to start the LED and everything and the deblur switch and pretty much good to go. So I'm going to put this back in the shell and start getting everything ready to put the switch on. Here you can see we have it mounted back inside the N64 case, and I've run a little LED down there for the drawer. When you open it to put a game in, it'll shine out blue. Now we're going to have to hook our little power connection into here for the deblur feature, and I've run a little switch on the outside here. So let's solder it on. Okay, so now if we turn it around here, you can see our little deblur switches here. Gives us on and off for the deblur. Some games are recommended that you don't run it with it because it messes it up, but most games are okay with it. But in default position and then the off position, so you can actually disable it from here. And our little LEDs are mounted inside here. So when we go to turn it on, we'll get an LED shine through. Going to show you what it all looks like now. So anyway, I'll leave the video quality for Matt to enjoy as a surprise, and thanks again for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.
I know now why you cry, but it's something I can never do.
Hey there, this is Michael from Master System, and you have been watching Retro Revolutions.
Hey everyone, this is Matt, aka Cygnus Destroyer and the LJN Defender. If you have any questions about retro hardware mods, or if you're looking to get your consoles modded, be sure to send a message to Jared at retrorevolutionsdesigns@gmail.com and he'll hook you up in a future episode. Also, if you like what you saw and you want to see more, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. Take care, everyone.